All right, so in this problem, I'm basically giving you a point on a parabola, and I'm giving you the vertex, and I'm asking you to put it in vertex form. In other words, I'm asking you to find the equation, and that equation means that you have to have your A, you have to have your H, and we have to have a K. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, our first step is going to be to identify the vertex and put it into vertex form. So remember, this is our H and this is our K. So what we have so far is y equals A, x minus, well, our H is 3, and then our K, so we've got plus 5. And it's always good to kind of pause and check that that's correct. Is our vertex correct? Well, we always take the opposite of this and get a 3. Take the same thing here and we get a 5. Is it true that 3, 5 is our vertex? Yes. So I always think it's kind of a good idea to stop and say, did I put this in correctly? All right, now what are we missing to say we are done, this equation is in vertex form? Well, we're missing the A value. And we basically are trying to figure out, what is A going to be? Meaning, how narrow is the parabola? How wide? Is it a sad face? Is it a happy face? And to calculate that A value, we're going to use the point that we're given. So here's the point right here that we're given. And just a friendly reminder, this is your X and this is your Y. So let's go ahead and let's substitute in. So remember, my y is 23, so I'm going to write this as 23. I don't know what my a is, so I'm going to write that as a. My x is 0, so I'm going to have x being 0 here. And then just rewrite the rest of the problem. Okay, now we need to solve for a, and of course we have to follow order of operations here. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to simplify what the 0 minus 3 squared is. So we're going to simplify this. Well, what is 0 minus 3? Well, of course, that gives us a negative 3. And don't forget about the squared. I'll rewrite the rest of the problem. So next thing I'm going to do to simplify is I'm going to do negative 3 squared, and that is, just to emphasize it, right here. So negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, so this gives me 23 equals A times 9 plus 5. And because we can rearrange multiplication, I can write this as 23 equals 9A plus 5. I'm going to rewrite up here just so we have space. Again, 23 equals 9a plus 5. So let's solve this two-step equation. We're going to get rid of the 5 first. We always know that we do the opposite of order of operations when we're solving. So 5 minus 5, that disappears. 23 minus 5 is an 18. And drop down the 9a. Divide by 9, and we get our A is equal to 2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is really easy to stop and say I'm done, because you have done all the hard work. But what you're being asked to do is write a final equation. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to rewrite it down here, but I'm going to write it with my A equals 2. So my final answer is going to be a y equals, now instead of writing a, I'm going to write 2, and I'm going to keep it as an x minus 3 squared plus 5. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your final answer. Let's do another practice problem. If you want, you're welcome to pause this video, try this one on your own, and see if you get what I get. All right, first step. Y equals A. I'm going to put my H and my K in, so that's going to be x minus 2 squared plus 4. Next step is putting in my x is 0 and my y is minus 12. Can't really see that now that I've circled it, but y is minus 12. All right, so that's going to be a negative 12 equals a 0 for my x minus 2 squared plus 4. 0 minus 2, we know that that is a negative 2. Keep my squared plus 4. Let's do negative 2 squared now. That gives me an a times, well, negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4 plus 4. Let's rearrange this just because that's what we're used to. So I'm going to rewrite that as 4a plus 4. Let's go ahead and solve this. I'm just rewriting it for sake of space. Subtracting 4 from both sides. Negative 16 equals 4a. Divide by 4. And our a is equal to a negative 4. And it's always good to kind of pause and say, does that make sense? Does this look like a narrow, sad face, like a negative 4 would imply? And the answer is absolutely, so we know we're in good shape. So my final answer is going to be just like this, except I'm going to be plugging in for a. So that's going to be a negative 4 x minus 2 squared plus 4. Awesome. Now I really encourage you to kind of look at this problem because it is a bit more challenging, and the reason why is we do have a negative value in our vertex, and we need to be careful of that. We can label this as an h and a k, so this is going to give me y equals a x minus, so I've written the x minus, but now I need to write my h, which is a minus 2. What is an x minus minus 2? Well, that's an x plus 2. And then plus k or plus 3. And remember on the first problem I said, hey, take a second to check that your vertex is right. Remember, we take the opposite of this, which is minus 2, and we keep this, which is 3. Does that match? Yes, it does. All right, moving forward, let's go ahead and plug in our point being an x of 0 and a y of negative 1. Make sure you're plugging into the right thing. Okay, what is 0 plus 2? Well, that's going to give me positive 2. Don't forget the square. This is going to give me negative 1 is equal to a times 2, or sorry, a times 2 squared. Well, 2 squared is a 4 plus 3. So negative 1 equals, let's rewrite that 4 out in front, so we get 4a plus 3. Rewriting this for space. Subtracting 3 from both sides. I drop down my 4a. I get 4a equals a negative 4. Divide by my coefficient, which is 4. And I get a equals negative 1. And I'm happy about that because it doesn't look super narrow, but it is a sad face. So our final answer is going to be a y equals negative 1, x plus 2 squared plus 3. All I'm doing is looking at this equation right here and replacing the a with my a equals negative 1. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day.